Sticking with this theme, joining me with more from Albuquerque, New Mexico, is a man who knows a lot about Super Bowl advertising. Steve McKee, president of McKee Wallwork Cleveland Advertising, also founder of AdBull.com. And Steve, why don't you just first explain what AdBull is? It's really interesting.
AdBull is the first real-time online commercial rating system that we pioneered. Well, this will be our 10th anniversary in 2010, where consumers can actually go online and rate the commercials that they see during high-profile programming like the Super Bowl.
And Pepsi has been basically getting its lunch handed to it in the last couple of years.
Well, Pepsi has been in the top 10, which is not a small thing. But for the last couple of years, they have come in behind CocaCola, which at the very high-stakes Super Bowl world is not a good thing. They want to be above Coke and not behind them. They're both, of course, behind Anheuser-Busch, which is the king of the game. But Coke has been winning its share in the last 2 years.
Well, and Pepsi, obviously, the big loser this year. It's not even going to be coming to the contest, and it's been in the Super Bowl for 23 years. How big of a deal is this?
It's a big deal, but I don't know if it's as big a deal as we're making it out to be. Pepsi's getting some great publicity from announcing this at this time. You know, they spent about $150 million just on media time alone over the past 23 years. And one thing I give them credit for is not just slogging it out, but being creative and looking for a different way of achieving their business objectives. And so I got to give them credit for at least taking the risk.
Let's talk about the different way. You could call it philanthropy, I guess. It's social media is what they're saying. It's really advertising by another name. What do you think about the strategy?
I think it's a little bit dangerous, to be honest. Now, again, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, or I guess this would be a Friday afternoon quarterback since it hasn't launched yet. But it's dangerous because of what you just pointed out. On the one hand, Pepsi's job is to increase, the shareholder value of the company, which is done presumably by driving market share. On the other hand, it wants to be perceived as a socially responsible company. If those two things can move forward together, terrific. But if they place the desire for a perception as a socially responsible company above the driving for shareholder value, I think it's going to hurt them in the long term.
Do others, though, pick up on this trend? I mean, do you see it gaining momentum?
You know, I would characterize it more as a fad than a trend, and the reason why is this. There's an anti-institutional fervor in our country right now, whether it's big government or big business, and people seem to think that, corporations and profit and even capitalism is somehow bad, and you have to be socially responsible in order to mitigate that or something. And I think that that's a mischaracterization. The most socially responsible thing a company like PepsiCo has ever done is created jobs and created wealth and driven the value of shareholders, by the way, most of which are middle-class Americans who do their own charity work.